I go to playgrounds a lot. Relax. I have a kid. I've never enjoyed myself at playgrounds, even when I was younger with a name like Jack. It's red meat for a little 6-year-old monster. Why in every children's story is the kid's name Jack? What was Jamal doing? Can't you send him up the hill with Jill? Sam could climb up the beanstalk and fight a big green giant. Let Jack take a nap. He's tired. All the kids named Jack eventually end up in therapy, spending lots of money trying to figure out why all the kids tease them so much. Years and years spent talking about your mother when the truth is, the therapist should just say, it's your name. It's a fucked up name to have as a kid. Good luck. Every time I have an argument with my wife, which since we become parents is frequent, I'll tell my therapist and he will tell me the argument has nothing to do with what you're arguing about. I'm angry about something in my childhood and my wife is resentful about some role she played in her family dynamic growing up. My wife is concerned that we are arguing too much in front of our 18-month-old daughter, Emma Rose. Now, we do everything we can to avoid it, but sometimes we fight. And my wife points to the baby, like, not in front of the baby, not in front of the baby. And I just say one word, relax. That doesn't work. Which is a horrible response. She says the same thing to me when I get upset, relax. We're both trying to get the other person to relax in the midst of no sleep, overwork, lack of sex. Not in the history of time has a husband said to a wife or vice versa in the middle of an argument, relax, and had the other person say, thank you. I forgot. Thanks for reminding me. Raising a kid is very hard. People can tell you how hard it is, but until you experience it, you have no idea. You're constantly making decisions. How much Sesame Street should the kid watch? My wife says no more than an hour. I say no less than 24. Who knows what decision will screw your child up? Which brings me back to playgrounds, okay? So one day, my wife and I went to a playground, and Emma Rose wanted to go on a slide. And I felt the slide was too high for her. My wife disagreed. Now, my life philosophy is, when confronted with a choice between fear or taking a risk, choose fear. My wife believes in taking chances. Don't limit yourself. Go for it. I married Tony Robbins. She married Nietzsche. Now, I'm afraid of heights. If you take a drive with me in the mountains and I'm driving, there's less than a 50% chance you'll get back alive. I grip the steering wheel very hard because even though I'm not happy with life, death seems worse. Everybody walking around with smiles on their faces, seeing relatives I didn't like on earth. I had a terrible relationship with my mom's cat. The cat bit me once and never let me pet it. We hated each other. No one was happier to see my mom's cat die than me. It was a mean cat. If I see it on top of a cloud, I'll kick it. So my 2-year-old daughter is going up these little steps on the way to this very high slide. And I tell my wife, again, I don't think it's a good idea she goes down that slide. And she gives me a look like, no worry, she'll be fine. So I go up the little steps, and then there are more steps. And I'm holding my daughter's hand, and I'm nervous. You know, I grip her hand tighter and ask her one more time, are you sure you want to go down there? She says, yeah. I put her on top of the slide, and I say, are you ready? She says, yeah. So I nudge her a little, and she's gone. And I'm so proud of myself. People can change. Growth is possible. I start to think about signing up for a Tony Robbins workshop. I get a taste of fearlessness, and I want more. Maybe there is still hope for that little Jack in me who believed anything was possible. I look out at the beautiful trees blowing in the wind, and I start to hear Louis Armstrong. I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Sorry for the voice. And I say, Emma Rose, Nothing. Then I call to my wife. She responds, yeah. Everything was fine, but my daughter had that look on her face like, what the hell just happened? I go down the stairs and see my daughter. She went down feet first and ended up head first. So different thoughts rushed into my head. She could have fallen. She could have been paralyzed. Why did I listen to my wife? I look at my wife and she says, that might have been too high. I nod my head. I don't want to argue with my wife in front of Emma Rose, but she can tell I'm upset. And then she says the worst possible thing. Relax. And I decide to do the opposite. If one day our daughter comes home from junior college and says she feels like her life is upside down, it's going to be because of this moment. And I'm going to have to pay for the therapy session. Who knows what thoughts went through her head? Let's try to guess. Why am I 15 feet up in the air on a piece of metal? Where's mommy? Are they trying to get rid of me? That should take a couple years of therapy to sort through. I'm not going to spend my retirement money on her therapy. Maybe the next time we go to the playground, we should have our therapist at the end of the slide and a little couch set up so our daughter can go right into a session before the fearful memory lodges into a section of her brain. My wife looks at me, and I could tell by the expression on her face, she's going to say something really profound. She turns and says, the baby pooped, and takes her into the bathroom. I sit on the bench and watch the kids play, and this dad, mid-30s, hip guy, he smiles, he's got a lot of energy, and my eternal dialogue is, please don't say anything to me. Just please, I don't want to talk. Oh, God, just don't say anything. And he says, great day, huh? Yeah, beautiful. He just stands there for a bit, and I'm thinking to myself, maybe he's a cop. Does he think I'm a pedophile? Middle-aged white man sitting alone on a playground? So I say to him, my daughter's in the restroom, which takes him by surprise. And I think to myself, maybe he wasn't thinking that. Or more importantly, why was I? I make a mental note, good thing to talk about on my next therapy session. How many kids, he asked. Oh, just one. Are you going to have another one? No. How many kids you have? 4. Oh, my God. Wow, that must be really hard. He says, I love it. He's not a cop. He's an alien. He's doing research on depressed dads. He smelled me from outer space. My wife comes back and we head home. Emma Rose is curled up on the couch watching Sesame Street. And it occurs to me my anxiety about her going on that slide is my fear of her becoming like me. I want to protect her from being hurt because when people get hurt at playgrounds, they start to become someone else. I want to keep every part of her alive for as long as possible because if a part of her dies, a part of me dies. And I don't want to die. Not because I'm having a great life, but because I really don't want to see a lot of my relatives. And that cat, I swear to you, I'll kick it.